I feel hot and like I'm in the work clothes.
You need to
But we're
relax.
live.
Take a deep breath.
We're live.
Oh,
We're live. So
okay.
I usually give it like a little bit of time, but really I just go live honestly these days because it's easier than trying to pre-film some kind of way
It
and
is.
then edit. Like I can still edit a live video. So
Mm-hmm.
I warn the peoples, but it is the day before the 4th of July. So we'll see who gets on. Are you able to see comments?
Yep, I see comments
Okay.
and private chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's cool. I don't know what that's for, but that's fun.
Yeah, it's cool. StreamYard.
StreamYard.
I use Zoom a
Okay.
lot.
And then, no, because that's going to irritate me if I go live on Instagram, actually, because the sound. Okay, so we're just going to get started, and then whoever tends to trickle in will trickle in. But
Let's go, girl.
let's go. Well, hey everyone, I'm Zara. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hey, it'll be a fun one to watch. I have a co-host today, and I have never had a co-host on my channel, so I think it's the perfect co-host, the perfect guest to have on for my first ever time. My friend, my soul sister, the person I literally keep hidden from everybody because she's mine.
I knew it.
But it is time to share her with the world. Um, Spiritual guru, director, producer, mama, homeschool mama, plant mama, wife, just all around badass woman. My friend Mimi.
I appreciate that. That was great, girl. You give good introductions.
I try to watch. I watch. What's that show? What's that guy? Club Shay Shay.
I was about to say, hold on now. Shannon Sharp, I need one of
Shannon
his
Sharp. Yeah, yeah.
introductions.
I
For real.
know.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Mimi and I'm here and I'm excited to have a conversation. So let's go.
Good. Okay, so this will just be like a conversational style. I was saying earlier, so I don't know if I'm gonna edit out the beginning part or not, but I'll just reiterate. I'm going live. Obviously, it gives an opportunity for people to interact if they so choose, but it is just easier to be able to go live and then go back and edit later if I need to, and then to bring someone on. We're here because from the genesis of this channel, we talked about this a little bit off camera, but I've just wanted a place, a safe place for people who are walking their journeys, their spiritual journeys, this life path that we're all on. And I think sometimes it's really, really hard to feel like you have to have a label or an organization to have community and support. And I just want to blow that out the water and say, like, that's not the case. And so you, obviously, you've known me for many years now, are one of the people that I lean on, I go to for wisdom, advice, community. And I don't know, I want to have a conversation with you and share you with everyone. And so if you could just start off, let me know just your background. Like, did you grow up in the church? Did you grow up in the mosque? Did you grow up,
I
I
grew
don't
up
know,
in
in
the
the temple? Like,
no. I grew up Baptist.
okay.
Really, I grew up mixed because my grandmother was a Catholic. And so that was like a
Oh,
heavy influence in my life, like heavy, heavy. We went to Catholic church, we did communion, all of that when I was with her. But my
I did
dad
not
was
know that.
Baptist. Yeah, my dad was Baptist though. But his mom was Catholic.
Okay.
Yeah, she just couldn't take the loudness of the music, the nervous system thing with her. Yeah, she needed the sound seriously. Like, yeah, it's crazy. But my dad's Baptist and he's a reverend. Um, I grew up Baptist, but we didn't really go to church every Sunday, but we did go to church. It was a thing. Um, yeah, and I was just one of those kids that grew up like, oh, and then in Alabama, when I was living in Alabama, we were Protestant and
Oh.
what's the other one? I've been everything, girl. Let's just
I was
say
like Methodist, Anglican, whatever. I don't know, Seventh Day Adventist girl. It's all types of stuff out
it's
here.
like Protestant, and then there's another one. There's charismatic.
Okay,
I
yeah,
don't remember
like
the other one.
um apostolic.
It's like one. They speak in tongues.
The charismatic
It
apostolics.
gets really
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
It gets really crazy. That's all I know.
Okay, so you were mainly like within like a Christian
Bible Belt,
influence,
Southern. Yeah.
Bible Belt stuff. And then did that last all throughout like teenage years and adulthood, or was there like a shift?
So all my life, I was that kid that was like, this doesn't make sense. Like with the Easter Bunny, just a lot like most of us are or have been in this in the Hebrew walk anyway. Well, you know, we don't do labels, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We all grew up saying like, what is happening here? What is it with the tree and Jesus? Like, I don't get it. Most of us grew up saying that. And so that was me. But I kept going to church and just kept, you know, being doing what my parents told me to do. But as I got older, it just didn't make sense. And I started to do my own research and it grew from there. I actually ended up finding about the occult side of life first.
Okay.
And then that threw me into going like, okay, well, if this evil exists, then I know God exists, but I know he doesn't exist in the way that I've been taught.
Okay. And
Yeah,
so,
that's where that kind of, and I was like 23 when that happened, 24.
okay. So young adulthood,
Yeah.
like being like, okay, something's not adding up. Let me go
Mm-hmm.
look for some things. And so a lot of people go into the occult and they kind of stop there, or that's where they end up, right? So like when you say like kind of going into the occult side of things, like what was that, like what did that look like? And then if that's not asking too
It's
much.
not, it's just, I want to make sure I don't mince words or say too
Yeah,
much or
yeah,
too little, you know? So I'll just tell you how I tell you. We'll do it like that. I was sleeping and I had just had my first child. And I awoke to Jay-Z's On to the Next One video playing. And it was the first day that it came out, it premiered. And I was like, yo, this video is amazing. I'm half asleep. I'm like, this video is amazing. The symbolism is crazy, whatever. Me and my
yeah.
husband worked together. So when we got to work, I was like, yo, you got to check this video out when we had a break. So I'm showing him the video. And I'm looking at the symbolism. I'm like, what is this? I saw a cross and I saw 2 bullets next to the cross. I was like, I don't think I saw this right when I woke up. I thought it was dope, but maybe not. And so then I looked next to it. Back when the YouTube algorithm was like really worth something.
Yeah.
And it used to actually give you good suggestions.
Right.
It gave me suggestions on like Freemasonry, and
Okay.
my whole little mind was blown. Like you're talking about somebody that just grew up like, I know Jesus is real and he died for my sins. And there, you couldn't tell me no different just because I felt that inside. I don't know what it was about it, but it was just, it resonated. So, but I used to cry because I'm like, I don't understand how any of this works. Like, I guess, okay, whatever. Like, I believe in God. Like, I don't want to go to hell. That life.
Right.
So anyway, up until that point, after that point, I just dove in. I learned about Freemasonry. I learned about the Rosicrucians and all the things, the bloodlines, the Merovingian bloodline and Mary Magdalene and Jesus and all the rumors they said about. I learned about every aspect of everything. But the thing that I did one night and just by myself, I like was crying out, and I just said, whatever I learned, just show me from your perspective. Like I'm sold out to you, but like please show me what all of this means. I had that type of conversation with God.
Right.
And from a childlike space. Like I'm so scared. I don't understand. I know that the world is deeper than I once thought because I learned about the evil. Unfortunately, I saw that, and even though I had a belief in Christ, I didn't know what that even meant. Like what I was supposed to do with that.
Yeah,
like most people every day. Most people every day, like, yeah, I believe Jesus died for my sins. What does that even mean though? Like people like, oh, he died for my sins and I'm not going to hell. Cool.
Yeah.
Check. But past that, we truly still like be laying in the bed at night, like, oh my God, what does that even mean? Like,
like no, like that was literally me. Like you know, like part of my actual story.
It's really scary when you don't have. I feel like what the deeper parts of our faith bring, they bring us this deeper foundation. And when you don't have that, you're kind of just floating. Hippie Jesus is going to save you when you die. And you're just like, you know, as though. But anyway, so Fast forward through just blind belief and faith. And I would like just, I don't know, cover myself in Christ. I would listen to sermons. I stopped listening to hip hop music. I just dove into Christianity.
Okay.
And that left me. This was after the Jay-Z video. This was after I found out all about I just ran to Christ. I was like,
You
oh
said
my
nope, nope, nope.
I can't, I gotta do, I don't know what it means, but I'm going. So anyway, after that, years later, I'm talking, I've had moments during that time where I would put myself, and this is something me and you have never talked about. I would put myself into a space where I would be like, if they come to me and they say, you believe in Christ, and you're gonna say yes, and they can take your life. You're gonna let them take your life. I would run through it, and I'd be
you would like visualize that and like
visualize. I was
like ready to be a martyr.
Fuentes. Have you ever heard of Anita Fuentes on YouTube?
No,
she's very like,
I don't think so.
She talks about conspiracy theories and Christ, and I was listening to her, and she was like, "You may have to die for Christ," and she was just going in, and I was like, "She's right," and I need to be prepared. And like, I'm like pregnant with Micah at this point.
Oh my gosh!
Like, still not fully getting it, because I'm like, I know this evil exists, so I know he exists. I just don't get it. And so when I say I don't get it, I mean, just like every other Christian, we're in, I was about to say in school, we're in church, or we're in wherever we are, trying to learn about God and what's going to happen when we die or whatever. But deep down, like, we're like, I know it's something deeper, but we don't, right?
Right. And it's like, what do I do with this?
That's where I was. I was just regular, like, living life every day on the surface. So after that point, and I was listening to Paul Washer, so like fundamentalists, like,
you have never said that. You know who used to live on Paul Washer?
Paul Washer. Who?
Voldemort.
Oh my God, he who shall not be named. Oh no, but I did know that. We did that.
Oh, did you? I was gonna say, I wonder.
The thing is, I didn't stop there. Paul Washer's overwhelming passion for Christ. Yeah. Me. And I needed that in that moment.
Yeah.
And so, and then fast forward through all of that is when I had my supernatural experience where I felt like God finally was like, hey, you're right. Like, I'm real, here I am, and this is what we can do next. And that moment shook me to my complete core. But I definitely paid some dues before then of just blind, like,
well, like, no, so like you literally, like, you weren't living this way and like going so hard after guarding your faith in Christ and all of that because you had like some direct message from God or like whatever. Like, you were still planting those seeds for yourself and like laying up that foundation. Wow.
I didn't even really have a foundation, honestly, because I didn't even understand the Bible. So like, I'm reading, I remember one night, this is so crazy. I was pregnant with Isabella, it's my second daughter. And so this was before Micah. So this was before the visualizing dying for Christ. This is before all that.
Before practicing.
Before the practice. So I'm in the closet hanging up my daughter's clothes, and she's not even born yet. And I just looked at my Bible and I just bust out crying. And I was like, I don't get any of this. I opened up the Bible and I was like, what's a denarius? And I picked up my phone and I was like Googling a denarius. And I'm like, oh, it was like a Greek unit of money or whatever. Like, it was like,
oh my gosh.
And
because I know you, I could see this whole scene playing out.
I'm in real tears. Like, I don't even know what's going on in this thing. Like, stressed out, pregnant. Like, but that's why.
Oh, okay.
But to that same token is why my relationship with God is so tight. Like, nobody can shake it. Like, no, you can't shake it. Because I've been there. I've been to the point where I didn't understand any of it to then understanding beyond it. And now, and I know that wasn't me. So, But yeah, so I mean, the supernatural experience was the marker, because that's when I became aware that I'm walking in another kingdom. He's got angels around me. There was a time where I was watching you. I ordered your book and I was reading your book, and I was like, me and her, like, we talk about God the same way. Like, I know we'd be great friends. I never thought that I would be friends with you.
Like, it's
But
so crazy because like we are like
the same, and we're the same. But God used that to show me, hey, when I communicate to you that one of those, that a person you see is your person, this is what it's gonna feel like. Because he
right.
showed me with you. And then he even uses it now, like in business. He'll give me that feeling like, oh, that's one of my people. Okay, cool. But he taught me with you. He taught me with other foundational people after that supernatural experience. Because it was like being a baby again. I was learning all over again. I mean, when I woke up the next day after that supernatural experience and went to work, I was literally like, I have hands.
Hands. What do I do with my hands?
It wasn't that what do I do with them? It was that I had them. Do you understand what I mean?
Ooh, okay, yeah. Even
Like,
just realization, like
I have hands.
I have them. Like I see everything.
I have an arm. I have
An
eyes.
awareness.
Like, I've been given this spaceship to walk through this realm, and I've been taking it for granted.
Yeah, and you
Because
just saw all of that laid out.
yeah, he really just overtook me. Like, yeah.
So at any point, like as I'm listening to the story, like my natural questions are like, at any point, did you have a moment where like you just had doubt, or you were just like, whoa, like I gotta just lay it down altogether, back up off this, like anything like that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You're like, duh.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, because a lot of people,
go ahead.
I mean, you know as well as I, like typically people that you hear tell a testimony or talk about their stories or teach the Bible, pastors, whatever, they don't like to talk about that part, you know, like that tends to get sometimes sanitized out, because there's like a shame or a guilt, I assume, associated with that.
Oh God. Oh, girl. Since the supernatural experience, I have backed away and been like, what are you doing to me? Like, what? You didn't give, like, it's not that he didn't tell me, he told me. But
you say, yeah, I was
like,
informed.
I was so like, of course, send me, I'll go. You're so good. Like, I want to go do whatever you want me to do. And then whenever he put me to do stuff, I was like, but not that. Wait a minute, you like, you didn't say. but in the end, like, I just want to be wherever he is. And so I want to be wherever he is. So I'm going to eventually do what he wants me to do. But my point in saying all that was, there were times where I thought I had put it all down and backed away from him, but that was his plan. He needed me to put it all down. There were times where he told me to put it all down, back away from man and what they're saying, because there's been times where I backed away, and then he's able to prove that he is God, because I didn't read this stuff anywhere. Remember when we met and I was saying all this stuff, and you were like, oh, that's in this book. Oh, you're talking about the Jewish belief in blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
everything you're saying, I was like, oh, I've read that before. Oh, that's over there.
Down somewhere. And so that's how he kept proving himself to me. He would whisper something, and then I would go find it somewhere else by accident. I'm like, oh, God said that to me. Oh, he said that to me. So I don't have anything else outside of that. Now I do, but at first I didn't. At first, all I had was feelings. You know that. Like, I was just like, I feel.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
but that's so important to say, and to say out loud, and to stand in that and be like, that was part of the journey. Because, you know, my background was, I wish a Christian would be like back, you know, when I first became, you know, Christian, or like got involved in the church in college, like feelings, experience, like, oh, you had an experience with God. Did you?
Right.
You have a feeling that you heard something from God. Did you? You know, and it was just like, we were taught to really come down and like be like, no, you didn't. Whatever you heard or felt or whatever doesn't matter. And you need to get everything strictly from a Bible verse. If you can't find it in the Bible verse, you didn't hear, you didn't feel, you didn't experience, that was the devil.
Been there, heard that.
And I know like there's people who are going to see this who are probably in that in that space to where intuitively, or they're hearing, or they're seeing, or they're feeling, or they're having those experiences where, oh, that's written somewhere. Oh, like this is a thing.
Yeah.
But because in their faith tradition that they're currently under, or whatever it is, they don't feel like they can
But
give.
isn't that weird though?
It is.
How do you read,
Now
how
it's
do
like
you
that's
follow a book that says beware of the traditions of man and then be stuck in the tradition of man? That is so crazy to me.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But boy, was I in it.
No,
But boy.
But when it clicked, and you're like, oh, beware of the traditions of man, and it just echoes, traditions of man.
And when it clicked, my naive self thought I was gonna like tell everybody, and it was gonna click for everyone, and we were just all gonna be like illuminated together. It was gonna be great.
Me too. You don't understand. I ran it, like I did the equivalent of running into the streets and shouting, "He's real! He's alive! He's alive!" Like I did the equivalent of that to have everybody look at me and go, "Okay, Jesus is resurrected." I'm like, no, he's like literally like, you don't hear him, like,
yeah,
that's not well received.
No, it's not, and I think you said something I really want to because I think what you this happens all the time, but you said something and it stuck with me because that's where I'm at right now, that sometimes like he told you to put it down. He told you to take a step back. And that's part of the journey. Like that's how you get where you're going. And like I'm in a season of like I just have to lay it down and take a step back, you know, because the things there's not a benefit in how I was doing things for this season that I'm in right now.
I feel like I need to say something that is very near and dear to my heart. And I love saying it. Get to know yourself first. To know thyself is truly to know God.
Yeah.
One of the first things that Yeshua taught me about myself, about anything, was about me. Like, I made you this way, and this is why you react this way. And I saw when that happened to you as a child, and he really like goes into it and really like shows you who you are, not in the way the church tries to, like how cool he made you. Like, look how cool you're supposed to be walking through this earth. Like, and after that, then you can kind of go, well, wait a minute. Thank you for showing me, but can you show me you now? Because wow. And that's what happened to me.
Right.
Like he showed me so much of me in a good way and so much love. It felt like someone just grabbing my chin and just lifting me up and telling me, hey, now come on, let me show you what you were supposed to do. Ignore all that going on out there, but let me show you what was supposed to happen. And then as he's diligently working with me and showing me, oh, I made you an artist. So every day when you come home, I want you to draw. And I'm literally spending time with him while I draw. And other people are like, why are you doing art? You're 30 years old. You're this and that. And he's like, I need to do art every day. But look at me now. Look where I am now.
90. Like what? Like.
But my point in saying all that was after that, I had no choice but to look at my beloved and say, well, who are you really? Like, what is really going on with all these stories and different perspectives and things that they say about you? And one of the main questions that Christ always asks anytime I bring him anything from the lost books of the Bible to anything is like, well, first, who do you say that I am? And after that, then he'll tell me whatever I want to know. It's like, I know who he is. And that, of course, it's not like he's quizzing me like, well, who do you say that I am? And then I answer. It's not that. It's just,
right.
And if I ever find myself in a space like, oh, this piece of information is kind of like heavy, God. And it's like studying the occult and studying metaphysics, you learn things and you're just like, well, what do I do with this now?
Mm-hmm.
And first it's like, okay, well, who do I say that God is? My God. That's my king, my savior, my beloved, my love, my friend, my this, my that. That's me. So I come from that tribe, period. Now I can digest this information as somebody that comes from that tribe. Yeah. And so that's more of like, you know.
So like give an example of that. Like when we talk about like the metaphysical world and just like having even just having understanding, I think like maybe like chakras or something, like something that's been taken or you know what I mean? Like things
Yeah.
just anything, crystals, whatever, you know,
Let's do
things that
chakras. Let's do chakras.
chakras, okay.
I like to talk about chakras because biblically we learn about so many mysteries. We'll
Mhm.
hear Paul talk about the mystery of why my mind or my spirit wants to do right, but my body, my flesh don't want to do right. All that, right? That's a mystery, right?
Mhm.
But then when you learn about your chakras and breath work and what foods vibrate at certain frequencies, and when you learn about all of these different things, you learn how to pull the body into submission with the spirit, which is what these practices do, yoga and things of that nature. And what you see is, one second, what you see is then is that that's the mystery. Therein lies the mystery of the body and the spirit coming into unity with what it
The
needs
two
to be
becoming one.
and become right and
It is a
becoming
divine
one,
mystery, yeah.
whole, holy, set apart. If you look at a set apart person, most of the time they eat differently. They pray at certain times. They're in nature a lot. It solves the mystery of being set apart, even when you think about chakras, yoga, all of those things. So that's one thing that if I'm digesting chakras from this tribe, then I'm going to see it a certain way. And I see it as,
Yeah.
oh, the same way I know anatomy, and I know that this is that my
Mhm.
arm bone's connected to my shoulder bone. I know that my crown chakra is connected to my throat chakra, is connected to my heart chakra, because that is a spiritual body that needs to be tuned, and you need to eat properly for that, just like you have to eat properly for your liver. It's the same thing. So that's one of those metaphysical mysteries that
It
can
is.
be biblically explained.
And I think it's for for me, like, and this is like I just have to come from like this perspective because
Mhm.
I know how old am I? Okay, so like 10 years ago, I have to be like, how old am I? 10 years ago, I would not have been able to receive that
Right.
at all, right? And like I would have had Bible verse on Bible verse ready to attack, ready to argue, ready to be closed to that. Even though intuitively I know that makes sense, that's correct, that resonates,
Right.
that we need to be bringing the body, the flesh, and the spirit, soul, however, you know, people, some people are dichotomous, some people are trichotomous, whatever,
Mhm.
but to bring these things into alignment to function at our purpose, our higher selves, whatever we want to call it, our divine
Well,
selves, you know.
well, when you think about it, if Christ died and was resurrected, right, and he had the keys to life, death, the grave, all these things, what does that mean?
Everything.
What does that
What
mean?
does it mean?
What does it all mean?
But this is
So,
where we are. What
but
does
this,
it mean,
so
right?
if I know that I'm giving examples. If I know that my root chakra is in the part of my body that where my bowels are, and if I'm living from that space, then I'm more than likely living in hell. But if Christ has the key to that space, what does that mean? That means I can. That means I can fix it. That means that I
Mhm.
can go in there and unlock it, and see what's going on
Yeah.
there. And then what the information that comes along with chakras is stuff like, oh, if you want to make your root chakra healthier, you need to eat your beets and eat your root vegetables and things of that nature, right? None of that information is demonic. All of that information
No.
should be common sense to all human
Yeah.
beings who choose to incarnate. Like,
I mean, that's and the thing is, it's like if you're not attached to a Protestant canon, it is there. Like these are the things that you find in Wisdom of Solomon. Like these are the things that you know. Like these are the things that you find in the wider canon where it talks about medicine from the earth,
mhm,
and a doctor's job to use medicines from the earth and food as medicine.
yeah.
So
But I mean, also, I think just to where I'm at now, I feel like there's no more talking to do. Like what you just said, like it's there. The
It's there.
information is there. We to the Hebrew, that was all that stuff was supposed to be common sense. Like, uh, of course, I'm connected to what's in space. What's in space is in me. Like, there's an enclosed system. I'm not hurtling through space at 10,000 miles per hour. Like, there were certain things that were just supposed to be known knowns about how the realm mechanics in video games, in the video game world, they call them realm mechanics. How does the realm operate? Like, can I fly here? Can I, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can I
Realm
jump up and
mechanics.
punch the brick? No.
Right. Do I get a coin? You know what I'm saying? And that's like our realm mechanics say that we are connected to the cosmos, and everything within is without, and as above so below, and as it is in heaven so it is, like
Yeah, all of the things that we, yeah. But the thing is, we don't, and like you're saying, we're supposed to just know this.
But what happens whenever
As we
you are,
forget, but we're
what
supposed to know.
happens when you are overtaken by a wicked system that is actually using witchcraft to keep you in bondage? Like, that's
I
literally
think it's
what happens.
harder to know at that point, but I don't think we ever lose that innate, that thing. Like to me, it's the breath of God that's in us.
Yeah.
But I don't think we ever lose that ability to get back there. Now it's going to be the journey is rough, but I think we always can get back to that intuitive nature of knowing and following there. And I think sometimes, I think for some people, based on your life path, like having a book or having someone or people or whatever help you along the way or be able to guide you is helpful. But I think I'm really starting to come to this belief that that's not for everyone. Like some people really just have to like
feel it out.
Feel it out and sit with themselves and go find a tree.
It's a church
Like,
period. We have to, that is needed. That is needed. We are in the time of what I like to call the shamans of Yahuwah. Like, we are in the time where we're going to have to bring back the old ways, the biblical. They're all biblical. I'm talking about whenever there were like drum circles and things to keep evil spirits at bay. Like, these are the times that we're coming into again. And because we've all been taught that that is witchcraft, a lot of people, the majority, are having a hard time functioning in this new world, to be honest. They want to fight it with guns. They want to fight with clicking up and being blinded by their beliefs, and or worrying about what's going on with another country whenever they're literally
it has like nothing to do with you at all. Like not going to affect your life.
Exactly. And so
it's just distraction on distraction too.
Yeah, it is. But that America is the experimental like a think tank, if you will. So,
and the thing is, again, I think we all know that there's no way you are a living, breathing human being and you can't be like,
something's not right.
This ain't right. Like something.
I think they experimenting on me.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a guinea pig somewhere, some way. Like there's no way you don't feel that. And
yeah, that's true. True that.
Like I don't know. Like I know people talk about like the age of Pisces, the age of Aquarius, whatever the age that you believe that we're in.
Well, they say Aquarius because like the truth is coming out.
Yeah, if it's up to me, I'm choosing Aquarius. That
yeah. I mean, the time clock in the sky says what it says. I mean, that's not like a.
The people with their maths, they're like, we're 200 years off. It can't be. I'm like, look around, people.
When they get into all
around,
it's like card games. When they try to explain a card game and you just gloss over, you're like, I didn't hear
every time.
That's what I do when people start going, but you don't understand because it's 72 BC.
You were done.
Miss me, homie. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm more like, look around. We see everything's being laid bare. We're seeing some justice start to come out, knowledge. I mean, and people, so again, institutions will have this be a bad thing, but people are running away from the religious institutions. But to me, like, I don't think that's a bad thing. Like people becoming less religious, to me, people are becoming more enlightened to who they truly are and their creator. And so I'm like, I love it. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think that society is collapsing on the backs of there's not as many people in the mosques and the churches and the synagogues anymore.
I think the beautiful thing is that it is collapsing
I
because it's not working.
You said it.
It's not working. It's built on the blood of so many generations of people. Like,
yeah,
you just, it can't. And then
it worked to the age it was supposed to work in.
It did, but think about, and yes, true that nothing is wasted.
Yeah,
but anytime you have to ask yourself, am I following God or European culture? We got a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, anytime we're worried more about what has been laid upon us through biblical text because of the culture of another people is really weird.
So go expound more on that statement, because I think that's going to go over some heads, and I don't want it to.
Man, I want to make sure I say the right thing. Look, I'm like, oh, how can I? Is it European culture or is it biblical?
Actual, factual, biblical.
Factual. That, like, how I follow God.
Right. Not what we're given and calling biblical.
Yes, not right. Because some of the rules that we have, like the purity culture rules and all those things, were given to us by a weird culture that came over and began to fiddle with things.
Strange.
Put up the strange fire, if you will.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean by that. For instance, a lot of people, I can't share with them like that I worship God by dancing outside under moonlight, under sunlight, with drums. I burn sage. Those things are not inherently evil. It's the intention behind them.
Right.
I'm not using sage
because all of those things were created and given to us.
Exactly. By God. To communicate and connect with him.
Because all things are his, all things are in him.
Yes.
All things should be used to glorify him if we're going off of the text that we're
supposed to be going off
of. So no, like seriously, like people call me, all sorts of things all the time, but I catch the most crap on the crystals video, on sage.
Mm-hmm. It's like, that's really weird.
And it's just like, and I don't dance under the moonlight. I should.
I do.
I sometimes feel the urge. I mean, the only time I'm dancing under the moonlight is when I'm ready to have my babies and it's a full moon. All 3 of my kids have been born with the full moon.
That's super dope.
Yeah.
That's really actually dope.
And I very much was purposely outside, like, okay, bring them down.
Bring the baby on down.
Bring that baby on down. I don't care. Whatever.
There have been full moons where the Holy Spirit has literally, or the Ruach, whatever term people want to use, has literally been like, don't go out in that moonlight.
Yes.
Don't go out there.
I journaled this. Like moon energy is moon energy, and it may not always be for you.
Right. Nope, it can ruin your life.
Inside.
Yoga can ruin your life. Ooh, you know what?
Anything can like that's a thing.
But can I just touch on something that I've been wanting to touch on for so long?
Yes.
So I was listening to a woman on YouTube. I forgot her name. I need to be better at that. But she was speaking about her experience. She said yoga caused demons to inhabit her life. And of course, anytime I hear that, I'm like, come on, let's hear it. How did the demons
let's hear it?
Like, tell me, sis. I'm listening. And so she was like, she told this long story. And I listened to her speak. But the gist of it that I got from her story was that she wasn't facing herself. Anytime you're not facing yourself, if you go do yoga, which is to get you into alignment with your body, mind, soul, and spirit, whatever, all one, you got to face yourself. Yeah. If you don't, you're going to feel like demons is coming after you. Like, it's going to feel like they're after you.
But that's what.
But they are, because you need to fix that.
Right. I was like, you not facing yourself.
But so
you're doing that. That's dark.
She ended up saying that she was doing yoga and she was just following everything that her guru told her, which, number one, that's your first mistake. Don't ever do that. Don't ever go blindly into yoga ever.
Right.
But she said she was doing that and then she started to have bad dreams. Well, it turns out she had lied to her husband about having an abortion. and she never told him. It's like, sis, them not demons from yoga, them demons from your lies. Like,
right. I was gonna say,
I cannot
I
do
think
this.
we've identified that yoga is not the problem. But that's the thing. But
the call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah, like, and it was like bringing it out, which is a good thing.
It's supposed to.
Yeah,
girl, there was. Okay,
it's doing its
I
job.
I was lying once. I was lying. I've lied before. We're not gonna pretend like I haven't lied. But real talk. I was in the middle of a lie. I was in the middle, smack dab in the middle of a lie, and I did yoga. And something told me, do not do yoga. I wasn't ready to talk about what was
right.
I was lying about. To be honest, who is ever ready to talk about what they lying about? But
very few.
I did yoga that night. I kid you not. The next morning, it all came to the surface, laid out on a gold platter. Like, if I was someone who hadn't studied and didn't know any better, I would have been like, oh my God, I did yoga, now I'm going to hell. It's like, nah, sis, you was lying. You was lying.
That actually, like, in like a different way. So, like, have I ever told you, like, my thing with, like, the Hamza hand amulet, the hand of Fatima, whatever? Mm-hmm. Like, it's just been something, like, I literally feel like anytime I have worn that or had that in my home, like, I am confronted with, it's just like conflict comes, and it's like the exact thing I don't want to deal with every freaking time. And like, I've always run from it when I see it, because it's always been like painful things. So like finding out I've been cheated on, or, you know, financial, whatever, or like, you know, stuff like I shouldn't have been buying, but I was buying it. And now we broke, you know, like just whatever it was just, it felt very negative. And I used to be like, oh, like that whatever the sign symbol is bringing negativity.
Right.
No, it was really just exposing the things that I intuitively knew but needed to deal with, and was not trying to deal with it at all.
And that's the whole thing, that whenever Yahuwah or whatever, Yahweh, whatever, I don't know what people, what vowels they like to leave out or not leave out anymore. But when, I just like to say the Holy Spirit. I think when we're told not to worship something or to do something, it's not a rule. Again, I feel like that's European culture. Like, it's not rules. It's like, here's the spiritual understanding of this concept. You good?
Sorry, girl. You know my kids. Maybe kidding.
I forgot what I was saying.
You were saying like whatever they tell you not to do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So like, when we think about, let's talk about like tarot.
Okay. Yeah.
The Most High has made you an intuitive tarot. You're a tarot card. Like, I say that all the time. People are like, what? I'm like, you're the one that can change the matter. You can say, nah, I know it's a King of Swords or whatever, but I'm making it a whatever. Like, I don't know the names of the cards. I have no idea. But what I'm saying is, he made you something that can tell people what is going to come, is my point. You're an instrument of prophecy. You can say, and it is. You are the people that are like, we speak and it is so. Is real. You feel me? Like, and so why would you go ask some cards that have now been attached to another spirit, whatever spirit is attached, happens to be attached to that deck? You're letting it tell you prophecy on your life, and you so powerful, you can make it come true. You can make it happen.
See, I view tarot differently.
What I mean,
like, I think like I certainly think some people use it that way. But then like I've kind of like done like dove in and like studied and like seen like different practices. Like, with some people, they won't even read for anybody else. They're literally saying like, I like what you're saying, like, I'm the master of whatever. I'm telling what cards to come out to reconfirm to myself. Like, it's really just like an outward way of like reconfirming to yourself, which I used to do with the Bible. I used to like
I was gonna say it's still
random flip to Bible verses and then like be like, and then this was supposed to be the Bible verse of my day, and then read it back to myself to
Two
confirm.
things though. Two things though.
Which is
Rooted,
wild.
you gotta think about the roots. You gotta think about the roots. Now with the Bible got all kind of discrepancies and all kind of stuff. But when you pick the Bible, you're dialing a specific phone number. When you're picking up tarot cards, it ain't about what you use them for. Tarot cards, in their essence and in their root, got to be connected to something else on the other side. That's a different. You picking up a different phone.
See,
It's
I
like,
don't know. Like I think
and
I
so
like to think that.
you would
But
like,
like I like when I think about the Bible, I don't view the Bible as like the word of God that has like fallen and bestowed. Like it's very much letters and writings from human beings, and
right. You
they
could very well
decided,
had one.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like they decided to put certain things together. Ezra edited whatever he edited, and like it was compiled for a specific reason. I don't know
Do
what
that, but you're
spirit
dealing with
the
the
writer of
same
Esther had.
spirit. You're dealing
That's what
because
I'm
you got to
saying.
understand the spirit. You're dealing
Right.
with the same spirit. All of them are claiming to have been inspired by the same spirit of wholeness and balanced vibrations. So when you get into tarot, you could be
More or
dealing with
less.
anything. You could be dealing with anything. And when I
But that's
say,
what I'm saying. I think it's about the person saying, this is what I'm channeling and this is what I'm not, because all sorts of people channel all manner
you
of
don't need a
demons
card to
through
do it,
Bible.
right? You don't
You know
need
what I mean?
10
Like,
cards.
and so to me, I've just come to like the spirit that's within you and the spirit that you are channeling and connecting to. That's what you're letting in, and you're not letting in whatever's, you know,
I
whatever that
definitely,
is.
after
I don't know.
um
But again, I'm just like beginning study. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like some
I think that everybody has to go to
tarot
that
girl.
point, and that's
Yeah.
gonna be fun. But what I've learned out since being out, just out in nature, is that
Yeah.
don't give your power, to anything really. But
Yeah. I think that's like that would be a nice tattoo. But
don't give your power to
don't give
anything.
your power to anything. But even with that, it's like so I have a really good friend. I hope to have him on the channel, but something he said to me was it was on the same along the same lines of like not giving your power away. Everyone's going to give their power away to whatever they believe is God, whatever that definition of God that they are
But
believing in,
see, that's
right?
the difference. Well, no, go ahead, go
Do you
ahead.
know what I mean? But like like I could take like a Muslim, a Jew, a Christian, a Wiccan, a whatever, and they're all, as long as we're talking about like something that they believe in, something higher than themselves, and they're all going to say, I know for a fact that I'm communicating with the true God. I'm on the right path, what have you. And they all have their reasons. And there's not really any way to know what's
Well,
true
for
you know
me,
what I mean? Like it's just your
my
it's your
gauge,
belief.
my gauge is: are you in your power? There are people who claim to be in their power. I used to sit with the witches, and
Yeah.
they're not. They're in complete and utter weakness and bondage.
Yeah.
The thing that I love about Yeshua specifically, let's talk specifically, is because I didn't have to give him my power. Like, that was the thing. He was like, okay, this is your power. Now let me show you how to increase it. So when you do breath work, you increase your chi. When you increase your chi, you increase your focus. When you increase your focus, you can put your focus on anything and boom, execute.
Right.
He was the only one that did that for me. Anything else was always talking about, give me and I'll, even at church, give, sacrifice.
Yeah.
With Jesus, I can't say Jesus, with Yeshua,
Exactly.
because I want to be specific. I said, let's be,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With Yeshua, he was just more like, oh, hey, let's get on this samurai stuff. Let's get on this monk stuff. Like, let's increase your power. He was the one that didn't try to take anything from me first, but he just showed me what he put there and showed me how to increase it. So when it gets into
Yeah.
anything, when niggas start talking about tarot, when they start talking about any of it, I just be like, yeah, go ahead. Tell me how it works. Tell me how it sounds.
Yeah.
Because I see where it goes. I see where it hits. I used to sit with all these poor women, and I would tell them what was going on with them, and they would still consult those tarot cards. And it was forever consult every day they drawing another card.
Oh, okay. Like even though
Every day, every day, every day.
you
And
were
I'm
like,
just
I could
like,
just tell you.
and I'm sitting there like, yo, your womb has already told you what you need to do. You're ignoring it. So you looking for these cards, you going to church, you trying to get delivered and baptized again.
Yeah.
When your womb is saying,
All
leave
the
that man
things.
alone, stop eating fried foods,
Well,
stop
you
going
know.
back for your mama's approval. Your daddy don't need to approve of what you're doing. Like
Yeah.
your womb is telling you everything you need to know. But you're
Well,
still,
yeah, and that's where everything can become bondage. Because like what you're describing with tarot, that was me with Bible.
and that's scary.
Which you know what I'm saying? Like which it
That's
was
very
it's like
scary.
it was just a very unhealthy way to be using it. And it's like there's nothing wrong with the text. It's you know what I'm saying?
It's
Like
been used against us like that.
yeah, it was
Again,
like literally I was
that's a culture thing
weaponizing it
too.
against myself.
That's a culture
Like
thing.
why would I do
Mhm.
that? But that's what I was doing with it. And so it's just I think, and again, that goes along with like everyone is going to have the parts of their story and their journey of like how they get to where they're going. And ultimately, he's the one guiding, right? Like God, Yah, the source, spirit, whatever people, whatever nouns you want to use.
Well, the whole point in Yeshua dying on the cross was to let us back into the cosmic dance. So when you get back into the cosmic dance and you're learning about where you fit within astrology, where you fit within culture,
Yeah.
where you when you go back and you study, like right now I'm doing
Which no astrology. That's what we've been told,
right.
you know.
But he teaches us to look to astrology. That's a clock. Like what?
I mean, the whole New Testament narrative is literally telling you astrology. Like
It is.
it's like it's
Jesus' whole
so.
story is the story
I
of his
was gonna say
life.
his
Like
entire stories.
it all correlates when they say that that he was at
Yeah,
the foundations of the earth. When they say all these different things, what do people think that means? Like that's what that means. When you're talking about the sun's journey across the sky, like when you're talking about these things and you're
yeah,
able to put it in to a text that even a child can understand.
yeah.
But it has all those cosmic layers that it's even telling you the story of the sun's journey across the sky, my nigga. Like what? But yeah, anyway.
No, I will no, but like that's the thing. It's like I used to, read the narrative of, the virgin birth, and being born of a virgin, all of that, and just very much was like, okay, purity is important. She was picked because she was perfect. Like,
But
that
but we know
that
now
whole
she was
thing.
perfect because she hadn't been mixed with Nephilim DNA. Not because she
Well,
was perfect and
not
pure.
just because she was perfect and
Like
again,
she wasn't
purity
a white
culture.
woman that had never had sex. She was someone that wasn't mixed with alien DNA outside of the father.
And again, purity culture will have you like, that's why
But
purity is
that's
important.
what I'm saying. Like that's what I mean by
Yeah.
is it European culture or is it really God's word?
Or is it
That's
really
what I
right?
mean.
And what are we actually reading here? And
What
that's the
am I
thing. Is
doing
like
here?
when I figured out what I was actually reading, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, it's not a problem. And that's the thing. Like people are like, okay, like when you say like you're not living from a book and like whatever, does that mean like you just don't believe in the Bible? I'm like, no, like the Bible's fine. There's nothing like the Bible itself is telling you everything you need to know. It's
Yeah.
we need to figure out how to read it. And I'm one of those people, I'm very honest with myself and self-aware to know I'm not able to handle this for what it's used for, and I'm using it as a weapon against
But here's
myself.
the thing. Like the Bible in its form that we have it today, as in every church, the 66 books
Yeah.
given to us by the government.
I was like Protestant sanitized.
If the government said, "Hey, today we're going to take out Acts. You don't need Acts anymore."
Right.
People would be they would go crazy. They should go crazy at the fact that everything else has been taken out. And
Right.
so, but in saying all of that, the thing that has made my life so great is the fact that Yeshua had told me he wanted to do a new thing and that no one would let him do a new thing because every time he would speak to someone, they would create a church out of it. So he would give revelation and they would go, well, this must be the answer. And they would go create a church. And he'd be like, wait a minute. That's what the revelation he gave me. So in trying to do a new thing, I didn't understand what he meant until he put me in the film industry. Now I'm like, oh, you're trying to recreate the world. Like, and you've been doing it, but now it's really about to manifest visually.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, I was saying that because why was I saying that? Bring it back.
We're talking about the
Whoa,
Bible,
Bible.
living from like this
Oh, the,
lens.
the most exciting part was that he wanted me to create something new. It wasn't about going back into the Bible and trying to figure that out.
Right.
That's why one of the reasons why I started to look around at my fellow Christians, Hebrews, etc., and be like, what Holy Spirit are y'all talking to? Because the one I'm talking to is fun. Like, we've been having fun. I've been on an adventure, like never
Yeah.
before. And every time I talk to somebody else, it's more about, well, he saved me and I'm still at the cross. And I'm like, dang, this is not, this
Yeah.
don't seem fun at all. But I don't know, man. I think that to each his own, it's all about levels of consciousness. When you get into metaphysics and you start learning, when you get into metaphysics and you start seeing, oh, a place got blown up and a bunch of children died, but you don't know where them children were in their lives before. So you don't know what timeline they're on. And
Yeah.
America got you paying for a war to like go save some. I'm not talking about what's going on now. I'm talking about any time in history.
Yeah.
You don't know the karmic ties that these people have that are on other
Yeah.
continents. So to even involve yourself is putting yourself in a cosmic crossfire
That you have that you know nothing about.
that you know nothing about. So when you get into metaphysics, you start to answer the questions of, well, if God is real, then why did that child die? It's like, you don't know who that child was. That child was baby Hitler. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. And
Yeah.
so you can't speak on that kind of things. When you get into metaphysics, you start to learn about that kind of stuff. And you have to become solid and learn to stand as your own cosmic being that is connected to this God that sent his son to die on the cross to give you the keys to come back in and be connected to your higher self. You didn't even have no keys to get back up in there, to
Yeah.
get back in the spaceship and drive this mug. You didn't have that. Like, none of us did. We didn't have that ability before Christ. That's why I call him the Tesseract. Like, he literally is the reason we can move forth throughout space and time. And
That's a
not
tough one.
and when I say that, when I say forth throughout space and time, and not be in bondage to these institutions, before we have been blinded because of the sacrifice. We don't have to be. A lot of people are, like you said earlier, are choosing it because the
You're right.
information is there. The information is there. So, but before,
But if you're disconnected from yourself, you can have all the information in the world. You
yeah, it don't
may,
matter.
yeah, it
Knowledge is self.
literally doesn't matter.
But do you know the Gospel of Mary? That's where it talks about knowledge of self, and
Yeah,
nobody ever wants to read
but
that.
but but that's a bad book.
Yeah, I know. That's what they say. But here, oh, hold on, wait. Let me get my shirt. Hold on. This is my shirt. Justice for Mags. Justice for Mary Magdalene. Period. Just hashtag justice for Mags.
It's so funny because I was talking to someone today that was like, she probably wrote the book of John.
Hey, listen.
No, like that's actually like a belief,
No,
and
I
like
know.
was
I'm
making me give
reading
her credit. I was like,
right
she
now.
probably did.
I'm reading so many books that have to do with Mary. You know, Mary has been,
Yeah.
yeah, that's my thing. So, but that's where it starts. I think the resurrection of the Magdalene is happening right now, and that's really going to be like where it balances out. Because women got to be step back in their power, and I'm not talking about just all women. Women are stepping back in their power. That's why we got so many self-proclaimed witches running around. It's just women who have gotten their power back,
Yeah.
and the church hasn't given them a title other than witch, so they go with, okay, I'm a witch. Like,
all right,
I'll be that.
well, yeah.
But
I mean, I'm call me witch. That's fine.
well, I believe names
Whatever
are
you think that
important.
means.
I believe names are important. And you can't call me no witch, but you could definitely call me a Magdalena. Like, I know my beloved. I know that I am one of his closest disciples. And that just, I think names are important. I'm not about to be like, oh, well, if you want to call me a witch, don't call me no witch.
You're like, nope, not me. See, I'm like,
even
I
though I got a lot
don't
of
even
power,
assign weight. Because like, to me, it's like I'm very much in the season of like control what I can control. I can't control nobody else's tongue. I can control what I answer to.
period.
but I can't control, you know what I mean? But I can't control nobody else's tongue. So I was like, whatever this thing means to you, that's fine. You keep that over there though.
Because a witch is just a wise woman. Once a woman started to have any thoughts, she was considered a witch.
I know.
I don't trust
You
not
thought a
one
full thought,
woman they called a witch. Like if they called them a witch, I want to learn about her because
I was gonna say I kind of want to read her stuff.
Give me her books, please.
Girls, can you close this door, please? We're almost done. I think they see Miss Melissa.
I miss them so much.
I know. We'll have to FaceTime and stuff, but no, I do need to get off though and get them settled down. I mean, I guess I don't. They don't have school or nothing, but I do.
I understand. No,
they have fireworks and
I'm out of school right now, girl. So I'm trying to chill. So
I know. I was gonna say you need to get you some time in, but I do. I appreciate you coming onto the channel. I don't think this will be the last time that that you're on. Now that like I am opening up my channel for those whom I respect and love and trust, and really feel like it's time to kind of pour out a little bit. So thank you. I so appreciate you. I can't wait till tomorrow and like, you know, over the weekend where people trickle in and they start to watch. And I'm telling y'all now, you act right in them comments.
No, I was gonna say the comments don't bother me, but I hope we get to do this again because I feel like you're trying to like you're kind of just getting the like vibe of how you want to ask questions and where actually you want to go. I would be excited to come back on like during that time when you get out of the part where people, whenever they're done talking about religion.
Like, I was gonna say we gotta. I feel like, you know, I have to bring them like, come on, guys, like I gotta bring you into like where we really going.
Let's go to the cosmos. Like blast off.
But you know, I know the channel and the viewers, and I know kind of what sometimes, and so I don't want to just be like boom and then have to go back and, you know, re-walk through. But I know that as an intro, an introduction, it's good, and it's where I kind of wanted to be at this point. So yeah, I definitely got to have you back on. So thank you.
Yep. You have a good night.
You too. We're gonna close it out. She's interesting, dope conversation. Yes, she is interesting.
I appreciate that.
Always dope conversation with Mimi. So anyway, until next time, you guys, Emir to Hashem. Bye everyone.
All right, bye y'all.